Wait, no, everybody. You can't miss this episode of the Bodacious Rant with Bart and Rye. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? I'm just being overly dramatic because we talk about dramas, whether it is the cinema or video games or whatever. But today we're talking about something that's kind of like a hybrid in a way. It's basically a short special that Disney Plus put out for one of my favorite comic book characters. And if you haven't guessed it already with the thumbnail and everything, we're talking about Punisher: One Last Kill, starring Jon Bernthal. And this is something that was announced, I want to say, sometime last year or maybe a little bit after. Yeah, actually, I think last year after Daredevil Born Again Season 1. Even though it is on Disney Plus, this is still going to be a spoiler-free review because if you're a Marvel fan and you just finished Daredevil Season 2, or maybe rewatch The Punisher that's on there, you're definitely not going to you're going to watch this for sure. So if you happen to like the short, like the character, just like tuning in to me and Bern, or my being me over dramatic, feel free to give us that thumbs up to show your support, ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe. We appreciate you all for tuning in and joining us. Also, if you haven't already, we have our spoiler-free review of Mortal Kombat 2 that came out last week. Feel free to check that out when you get a chance.
And our Daredevil Born Again review.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bernie, for reminding me. Yes, our Daredevil Born Again Season 2 review is up. So.
Exactly. Since it's on theme, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. The Marvel Knights is kind of on point with these guys. So, yeah. This one takes place after the events of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, where Frank is kind of living a solitary life after those events and keeping it low-key, but he's kind of drawn back into conflict in the streets of New York when an old foe essentially comes back with a vendetta. And given the Punisher with his... I feel like the Punisher is an interesting character because he does have a bit of a rogues gallery, but at the same time, being the anti-hero vigilante that he is, his enemies are literally almost anyone who commits crime, whether you're a mobster, a street thug, or a crooked cop or anything like that. So I'm not going to get started on the whole cops and Punisher thing. But anyways, it's when Jon Bernthal came into it in Daredevil Season 2 back in 2015, again, crazy that's been that long, I was like, man, that is Punisher for me. That is the one I've been waiting for, because my favorite before that was Thomas Jane from the 2004 film. And I remember watching The Punisher Anarchy. I thought Frank Grillo would be great for it. But it's funny that he became Crossbones in the MCU. So that's a different thing. And this being only a 1 hour short, I was like, man, that's it. That's all we're getting. I want to see like a movie or a series. So I didn't have much expectation for it. I didn't know what to think. But man, after watching it, it's great, don't get me wrong. It's just missing a little something that I think would made this almost dang near perfect for this character. But Bern, what did you think about this one? And like, were you just give me your thoughts, Bernie? I can't think straight with everything going on.
Well, I mean, coming into this, I was excited to see what they were going to do with it. You know, I really enjoyed his reintroduction in Born Again Season 1. So like that last half of the season, where he shows up and, you know, him and Daredevil get into shenanigans. That was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that they brought Jon Bernthal back because, yeah, like you, I really enjoyed him as the Punisher, and it's crazy that he's already been playing him for about 10 years. So, just to see him in his own thing, you know, that is in the Netflix series, was really cool, and I thought that was like a cool idea to do it in that Marvel special look. I forgot what they call it, the Marvel special features or whatever that they've been doing, you know, for the last few years. This was the first one in a while, I feel like. I mean, we got the Werewolf by Night, we got the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and then it feels like we haven't really gotten anything since. So hopefully this means that they're gonna go back to that format and give us some more of these like one-off stories that could potentially lead to something higher. Who knows? But getting this single special was intriguing to me, and I thought, you know, they could have a lot of fun with whatever Frank is up to at this point. And I'm both satisfied and also a little bit disappointed with this one. I'm a little bit mixed on this one just because the good things about this is just the action. The action here is really, really cool. Anyone who's looking for some awesome bone crunching, bloody Punisher violence, you're gonna get it when you watch this. And the fact that this is only like about like 50 minutes. The back half of this is just like riddled with a bunch of like really cool set pieces and really cool choreography and gung fu, and it almost feels like it's like a mix between like a John Wick, The Raid, and Dread, all thrown together, but with Punisher as the main character. So all of that was really really solid, and I think John Bernthal he does a great job of portraying this more like this more like primal, sort of really just broken and sad and lonely Frank. And I think he plays that sort of role really well. That tortured person that just seems haunted by the things in his past, and then he does a good job of that. I think where the show, I mean not the show, but this special kind of left me wanting a little bit more is it does feel like we're retreading some similar grounds to what we have with this in this particular instance with this Punisher. It feels like we're repeating a lot of character beats that we've done in his own Netflix series and in the Daredevil season 2 Netflix show that we got. Not to give away too much, but it feels like him as a character kind of feels like he's kind of stuck in a little bit of a loop, and he can't seem to break out of that. But hopefully, with the way this ends, we can move past those sort of things, because it was a little bit frustrating to kind of retread those grounds again. So I will say, in terms of the story standpoint and the character standpoint, it felt like we're a little bit in the Arrested Development here. But hopefully, later on we'll get to see him. I mean, we don't have to wait soon. We're gonna see him in like a month or two with the Spider-Man Brand New Day. So hopefully we'll get to see a little bit something different from his character. But here it seems like well-worn territory. But again, the last half of this special makes up for it in strides, because of the really cool action sequences that we get. It's just everything you would want in the Punisher action sequence we get here, and I thought that they executed on that front really, really well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, isn't Spider-Man coming on winter? But no, that's Avengers Doomsday, and I think it's also good that Spider-Man's got in touch with both Daredevil and Punisher in the last couple movies. So that's just funny. Yeah, I literally, as soon as I watched, I was like, man, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. But then a few minutes after, I was just thinking, like, what about this? Where was this at? Just because I do agree with you. I think this felt a little too familiar to what we've already seen. I feel like maybe they did that just because maybe not everybody watched the Punisher seasons, or maybe saw the Daredevil Netflix seasons. I don't know for that choice in the story. I didn't mind it though. I like this version of Frank Castle that, given he's still kind of early on in his killing years and stuff like that. Sort of, yes and no, because it's already been like, dude, you've been around since 2015. But I like that this is a more raw, damaged Punisher. Like, he's almost feral in a way, especially when he goes on full-on combat. So, the action was on point. I can't spoil it, but one of the gripes I have with this is that, never mind, I better not say anything. I just felt like it just wasn't enough, is my biggest complaint. That it was a great short, but for only 50 minutes, and this almost felt like it's the beginning of a mini series in a way. Like, I would love if this was part of part 4, maybe 6 episode short series, and I'd be fine with that, because at least we get one more season of Punisher. But the fact that it's only 50 minutes and we see Frank a little bit here and there, and then some of the story beats that Bern and I were talking about that I can't spoil, or else it would be a big deal. It was kind of funny the way Bern described it. I'm going to have to keep it as an inside joke for now. But other than that,
I guess just needless to say that the setup for this felt a little bit silly to me, but we forgive it because of, again, the end of this special makes up for all that. But yeah, it was a little bit clunky on the writing end.
It's just the way you described it is what killed me. Again, I can't spoil it for any of you guys, but anyway, because given there's not much to spoil, but still, being one of my favorite anti-heroes, this is something you should definitely watch, especially if you've really liked the Daredevil Born Again series. And I believe Disney Plus has all the Netflix series on there, so I would say definitely watch Daredevil Season 2, Punisher Season 1. Punisher Season 2 you can honestly skip, in my opinion. It was definitely not as good as the first one. But I think this is definitely one of the better pieces of Punisher we've gotten in recent years, aside from Daredevil Born Again, half of that season. With all that being said, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. It's almost a 5, but I think the length is just, it's not as much as we're going to get. And especially even with him coming out in Spider-Man, I don't know how much he's going to be in it. So it just doesn't feel the same. It just feels almost like a giant tease in a way. But still a lot of fun. Still very, very violent, very gritty, very Punisher-like. Although I will say the very few minutes of the beginning, 4 to 5 minutes, if it is going to be a little hard to watch if you're very sensitive to certain things, particularly regarding animals. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But I still recommend this one. I had a lot of fun, and definitely look forward to see more Punisher and everything going forward.
Yeah, so with this, it feels like it works best as a sort of like a little bit of a Cliff Notes version of the Netflix series of the Punisher. This feels like this was meant as a sort of introduction / reintroduction for the Punisher character into this Disney Plus era proper. It feels like they put this out so people didn't have to watch 26 episodes of his series to sort of get the idea of what he's all about, or what this version of Punisher is all about. So in that sense, I can forgive it for those repeated story beats, because maybe, like you said, maybe people who haven't seen the Netflix series and only saw him just recently in Born Again, or see him in Spider-Man Brand New Day, this could be something they can quickly just throw on and get a good idea of what his character is all about. But as someone who's been invested with this character, in this particular version of this character, again, those repeated beats felt like a little bit frustrating, but again, they make up for it in the really cool action sequences that we get at the end, and what it seemingly sets up for the character by the end of this. So glad that hopefully we don't have to do this all over again. But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the character, I feel like you're gonna walk away from this one having had a really good time, and eager to watch more of it. I know I am certainly eager to see more of him, either in the movies or in his own series. This does feel like it's sort of like a pilot episode, maybe kickstarting his own Disney Plus series, which would be cool. But we'll see what they decide to do with it. But for me, in terms of this special, this one's going to be a 3 out of 5. Again, really cool action, frustrating character stuff, and a little bit of a messy story. But again, if you're coming into this wanting to see some really cool, gnarly, John Wick-esque action with the Punisher, you're going to walk away very satisfied.
100%. Very well put, Burn. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me, 3 out of 5 for Burn. We both still enjoyed it and definitely recommend it. So it's on Disney Plus for y'all to watch it. Definitely not kid friendly. That's one thing. So for those of you who are parents, save this one for when they're a little bit older. But
it's so funny because it was in the beginning of this, it had that warning, the TV mature warning thing. That was like, oh wow, okay, they're going to do something serious here, and needless to say, they did.
Oh yeah, I think this is. I mean, I feel like this is almost grittier than the Netflix one, but given it's been a minute since I've watched those episodes, so I'll probably have to go back and revisit them eventually. But yeah, for those of you who did happen to catch this little special, feel free to let us know what you thought about in the comments, whether about his new look or John Bernthal, whatever. No spoilers, of course. And until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch you all on the next one.